Sounds good.
All right.
The recording is started. It is all yours. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it.
Great. Adam and I would like to welcome you to this afternoon's presentation. This is part of a series. I'm Brian Friedlander. I'm a professor of education at the College St. Elizabeth, actually, St. Elizabeth University. I have to get used to that. And also assistive tech consultant. Adam, you can introduce yourself.
Thanks, Brian. I'm an assistive technology consultant and an adjunct instructor at Kean University.
Great. So as I was saying, this is part of a series, and you can see in February, we're going to be doing one on writing supports, and in March, daily living supports. We've done a couple in the past couple of months. They've been very well received, a lot of great information. And if you want to register, you can go to at4nj.org/webinars. And we will make this presentation deck available to you via a bit.ly, so you can have access to it. Hello, Karen, how are you? Okay, so just
Brian, great to see you.
Likewise. So just want to kind of talk a little bit about the note-taking conundrum, especially for a lot of students that we work with. Many of them have difficulty paying attention. Many of them have language-based learning disabilities. So simultaneously processing the content in the classroom with a lecture or even remotely can be difficult. And many of the students we work with also have difficulty in the area of fine motor skills. So the act of using pencil and paper may not be ideal for them. And of course, how are they going to organize that information once they have it down? So this afternoon, we're going to delve into some strategies and also talk about tools. And Adam and I have been working in the field for a lot more years than we probably care to share. But in any case, we know that it's really a combination of both the tools and the strategies and the implementation of these tools that can make a really big difference for students that have difficulty taking notes. So here's just some simple strategies. Teachers can or professors can provide incomplete outlines that students can complete. They can also provide incomplete slide decks if they're using PowerPoint or Google Slides. Some teachers have begun to use sketch noting, which is kind of using images and pictures, which a lot of the students resonate to. Even though if you ask most students or adults, if they can draw, most of them say they can't, but I've actually taught some sketch noting, and with the ability to draw a line, a circle, a square, you can quickly get students engaged in the sketch noting application. Also, using even just bulleted lists in Google Docs can be a good strategy for students, especially many of them are home now using Google Docs and Chromebooks. And also one of my favorite is using mind maps or graphic organizers as a canvas for getting ideas down. The nice part about the mind maps is the ability to, after the lecture, is to kind of organize the ideas and put them into some sort of sequence and grouping the ideas. And of course, with graphic organizers, you can add images, add color. So it could be a good strategy for students to utilize. The important part, and many of these strategies entail the student being engaged in what's happening in their learning. Adam and I are used to students getting the outlines ahead of time or getting the notes after the class, and oftentimes it puts the student really at a disadvantage because they don't need to learn the skills, or they don't need to be independent, and they don't need to be necessarily engaged in the learning. So a lot of these strategies really engage the learner in the note-taking area. So I just want to talk about a couple of kind of low-tech to high-tech. So these would be more paper-based applications. These are, I'll call them, for lack of a better word, smart notebooks. They're paper-based notebooks. Hamlin has one, White Lines, and so you write on the notebooks with with a pen, and then they have associated apps that let you organize
some schools and some school districts teach note taking and some do not. This is a super important skill, especially at high school and college level. And I see a lot of my college students who some have really good note-taking skills and some really were never taught note-taking. So I always recommend that you start with the strategies so that every student has a method for taking notes. That can incorporate technology. Obviously, we're talking about that today. But also it's the way that you organize and think about the note-taking process. And I think they really need to go together, especially when you're talking about note-taking, which is one of those really tough but critical skills.
Thanks, Adam. Also, those of you that requested access for the presentation, after the presentation's over, I will, approve them and you'll get the presentation deck. Take it away, Adam.
Okay, so online whiteboards are a really great support for lecture note-taking. Whiteboard Fee is a really interesting website where teachers can create questions and send them to individual students. The students then answer those questions and it goes back to the teacher. Jamboard is something that was recently added to the Google Education Suite, and it's both a physical whiteboard but also a virtual whiteboard where teachers and their students can share a virtual whiteboard so that you can do actual group activities. Teachers can write notes and students have instant access to it. And I've had a lot of success with Jamboard and students seem to really enjoy it. Microsoft Whiteboard and Zoom Whiteboard are also additional virtual whiteboards that can be shared between teachers and students. And just to let you know that if you have a smart board, can you just go back, Brian?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure. If you have a smart notebook or a smart notebook software, this is another place where you can take notes and share it with students. Sharing notes with students is a very common note-taking support technique, and using something like one of these online whiteboards can really be a great tool for that.
Great. So I wanted to talk about the use of smart pens for note-taking. Many of you, and I'll show some pictures and images in a little while, many of you may be familiar with LiveScribe or the Neo Smart Pens. And a lot of times these are the devices that are often given out at the college level, though I would certainly like to see some high school students use this as part of a transition plan. And these smart pens, they marry the ink with the audio, which can be played back. So it really provides the student with a safety net. So when they go into a classroom, they don't feel compelled to have to write every single word down. And when the students write the notes, it really acts as a bookmark so that students can go back and cue up to what the teacher said at that particular time. They can be used with Android and iOS apps. And again, as I said, they help to reduce anxiety and promote independence. I can't tell you how many students I've worked with, especially freshman students going off to college, express to me their anxiety about going into large lecture halls and not feeling really competent about taking notes. So this can be an ideal tool, and it's oftentimes the one that as an accommodation, even at the college level now, a lot of colleges are basically giving these tools to students to use as opposed to giving them a dedicated note taker. So these are just examples. The pen on the right is the Neo Dymo. It runs off a battery. This one is like, I want to say about $75. It doesn't have as much memory, but works really well and can record, audio using the app. The one on the right is one of the newer LiveScribe pens called the Symphony. You can see that if you're familiar with the older Echo pens, which I'll show you in a quick video in the next slide, you can see that this is a lot more slender because what they've done is they've offloaded the audio components to the Android or iPhone. And so you pair that, well, you pair both of them, but you pair the LiveScribe pen to your app, and then you're actually using your phone to record and also for playback again. So in some sense, it's important to consider when using this, where the student is sitting in the classroom, because you're using your iPhone as the microphone or the recording device.
Brian?
Yes.
I just want to interrupt you just for 1 second. We just want Mike's internet actually died, and I just want to make sure that everyone is still connecting with us. I mean, I see that everyone is still connected, but I just want to make sure that you can hear us, and
Okay.
just give us a thumbs up in the chat if you're still with us.
Everything okay, Karen said everything works. Okay, yeah.
Okay, great.
Right, so
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Yeah, so let's go down here. I'm gonna do just a quick demo and play a video. Oop. So in this video, you're going to see the LiveScribe Echo Pen, and you can see how chunky it is. So I'm just going to play it and let you experience what that's like.
What I'd like to do is show you how we can use the LiveScribe Pen for note taking in the classroom. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it on, and you see it starting up. To take notes, I'm just going to tap on the record button, and I'm going to make believe I'm sitting in my science class and my teacher's asking me to bring in some materials for a science experiment that we're going to be doing. So first thing I do is I click record, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a science experiment list. So the first thing I heard was need to bring in some salt. And then my teacher asked me to bring in mineral water, and also bring in a plastic container. And the last thing was to bring in some straws, and these were straws that were bendable. Once I'm finished taking the notes, I'm going to hit stop. Now, when I go home, if I want to listen to my notes again, I could just tap on each one of these, and then you would hear the audio note. I heard was need to bring in some salt, and then my teacher asked me to bring in mineral water, and also bring in a plastic container. And the last thing was to bring in some straws, and these were straws that were bendable. Once I'm finished taking the notes, I'm going to hit stop. So you can see that the student can always go back and refer back to the audio note that was recorded. In a couple of seconds, this information is going to be synced to my Evernote account.
So just that gave you an idea. So just want to make sure that you understand it's not reading what was written, but it's just recording what was said at that time. You saw that timeline on the LiveScribe Pen. That's the Echo Pen, and it's still available. And one of the benefits of that particular design is that you can plug in what they call 3D microphone headset that is great in large lecture halls. It reduces, it has noise canceling capabilities, which is really great. And so a lot of times I'll recommend that over the newer ones, because this one, you just turn it on, hit the record button. This one has the microphone and a speaker built in. It's self-contained. You don't really need to pair it up with anything. So just some other ideas, and these are just, everyone resonates differently. This is the Wacom Bamboo Slate. You write on paper pad with that particular pen. You can transfer what you wrote to your smartphone. It has handwriting recognition and also stores your notes in the cloud. It comes in 2 sizes, and again, the nice part about this is it utilizes handwriting recognition. And you can use any paper you want with this. So this is just a plain pad. This just was released. Some of you may be familiar with the Boogie Boards. These are inexpensive sort of displays that kids can use to write notes and for doodling. This takes advantage of the carbon copy pen that stores everything digitally, and then you can offload it using the Blackboard application to download everything. Again, just another way for students to take notes. It eliminates paper. The app, when you download it, you would see your notes in your handwriting. You can organize them within the app or share them as well.
Brian,
Yes.
we had a question in the chat about where to get Echo pens.
I would say I would try Amazon or try the livescribe.com. I mean, I'm sure they're probably in demand, and again, they're moving to the Bluetooth, but the Echo is still a great a great tool. You may also want to go on eBay and look for something secondhand if as well.
Okay, because we got a chat saying that LiveScribe said they were no longer available.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
which is a shame because I like the Echo pen.
What's that?
I said it's a shame because I thought the Echo pen was a good version. Yeah,
because like I said, students can go in, they don't need to pair anything up. That's all they would need. Turn it on and they're ready to go. The other one's a little bit more set up, and sometimes the Bluetooth doesn't play nice, so it can be a little bit more problematic, but yeah. I would try eBay if possible.
eBay, yeah. And there was also a comment that the Echo 2 is going to replace it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, Adam, you want to? Oh, was me. Okay. So as far as a lot of students have iPads, and certainly there are note-taking apps. Probably one of the more popular ones, especially in school districts that are using on the Microsoft platform. Certainly, OneNote. Has tremendous capabilities. So does Notability. A lot of students really like Notability, especially if you're using an iPad with an Apple Pencil. That works well. And then there are a number of other apps. Roam. Another one is Notion. I've been a Evernote user forever, and that is basically my I would say my home base for notes, emails, everything else. And Otter is an app, but it's also a service, so students can go in and use their phone and audio record, and Otter will provide a transcript of that particular lecture or meeting. And there are different costs associated with some of these apps depending upon how you're utilizing them. So some of them have, I call them freemium models. They may, like Otter may give you 20 minutes a week, but if you need 3 hours, you're going to need to upgrade to a full-featured subscription.
Brian, before
Yes.
we get to the demo, there was also a question about Boogie Boards. Do all Boogie Boards have capability to use a special pen to upload and transfer, or only certain ones?
Only certain ones. Yeah, they're newer Boogie Boards. As you can see, the ones that have the ability to erase. If you go to myboogieboard.com, there's a letter size and then an A5 size that you can utilize.
Okay. Okay. So I'd like to show you a little bit. Whoops, I have to share my screen. 1 second.
You want me to stop yours? Let me stop.
Yeah, you're gonna have to stop sharing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so one app that I've personally been using a lot and recommend to a number of students is Notability on an iPad. And I just wanted to show you some of the features of Notability. I'm using it with an Apple Pencil, which I have to say has been really great. It's very pencil-like, and it works quite well. I've also found that this app is specific, is great for students who like to handwrite, but they need help organizing their notes and keeping them accessible. It also has some additional nice features. So I can change the paper, different colors. I can have different lines or no lines. It's really easy to to adjust your colors of your pens and your thicknesses of your pens, so you can really customize it. You can also do, you can convert handwriting to regular text. Sorry, that's very small. Make that larger. And I can make that larger. You can also type if you want to type your notes. You can type as well. It will also record the teacher's lecture while you're writing, similar to a live scribe pen, but in this case you can type instead of write, or you can handwrite. Either way, it will also record lectures. It has built-in highlighters and an eraser tool. You can also copy and paste between notes. And you can search within a section for particular words. Even if it's handwritten, it will still search it. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, that's not working. It worked before. Okay. And it will show you the notes where that text is found, and bring you right to those notes specifically. I also like the way that it's organized. You can create sections, dividers, so that, and you can move notes around and really organize them. I also have it set up so that it will back up automatically to Dropbox. And this is a really great thing because I never really have to worry about losing my notes. If something happens to my device, they're in Dropbox. The other thing I just wanted to add, Brian, to your slide is MicNote. And MicNote is a really great Google app that is free, and it integrates nicely with the Chrome and Google environment. And a lot of students are also using MicNote to take notes and record the classroom lecture.
Got it. All right, so if you unshare yours, okay, good, excellent. Okay, so hopefully, let me make sure captions are okay. So we did mention that you can use mind mapping apps for taking notes. These are just some. One of my all-time favorites is Inspiration. Unfortunately, the company is no longer in existence, though there is a UK company that just upgraded Inspiration to version 10 that only runs on Windows, and they made added some new features. But right now, with so many students going online, I'm looking for applications that work in the browser. And one of my favorites is actually MindMeister. So let me just move this down. And just to, I actually have some videos, but I just wanted to kind of show you, this is MindMeister. It works in, in the Chrome browser, and I can, it allows me to, add ideas, and now I'm just hitting the enter key. I can also use graphics. I can also use links. I could put links in, and coming shortly, one of the biggest features that was really exciting for me when I was first introduced to Inspiration, it was the ability to go from the graphical interface to an outline. And this will be coming to MindMeister, which will make it even more invaluable because this also integrates with Google Drive. So I will be able to go from this graphical interface to an outline and then download the outline right into a Google Doc to start my writing. So that is pretty exciting. This is a subscription. It's not overly expensive, but here are some others, like MindMup is free, and Idea Mapper will be running on Chrome shortly. It's available for Mac and Windows, but these can be great applications for helping the students to organize ideas, and even, think about brainstorming ideas when they're writing as a pre-writing activity.
Brian?
Yes.
Just want to note that MindMup also integrates with Chrome and Google Drive.
Great.
And you can save your diagram as an outline as well.
Got it.
Okay. Just to save some time, we've included some YouTube videos that you can have access to once you request access to this presentation. But I just want to embed that in there. Let's see if I can. Okay. So thinking about what it's like to take notes from textbooks, I often have high school students that are very fastidious and they want to take notes. So one of my favorite applications is VoiceStream on the iPhone or the or an iPad, and these can read books from Bookshare, but it has the capability of allowing students to drop in almost like sticky notes, so that's a great application for students to drop in notes. You can also print the notes and export them, which is exciting. Some of you may be familiar with the C Pen reader, but it has what's called a keyboard mode, that when you plug the USB cable into a computer and you plug that into your C Pen, you can put it in the keyboard mode, and then it acts as a personal scanner. And all the drivers are built into Mac, Windows, or Chromebook. So on a Chromebook, a student can open up a Google Doc and they could be scanning text into a Google Doc to create notes. So it's a really nice feature, and it works really well. And the nice part is you don't need to add any apps or drivers or anything like that. It's built into the hardware. Also, Learning Ally Link has note-keeping capabilities. They're not Adam and I were having a conversation. It's certainly something that they really need to work on in the application, but it is available. And also, certainly, Read and Write for Google Chrome has a number of study skills and note-taking skills that are built into their AT kind of toolbar. Do we have any questions?
Nope, I think we're doing well.
Good. Okay. So probably if I had to say what are some of the trends in the area of note-taking, I would certainly say, the use of audio. Sonocent started, it's probably about 10 years ago, and they created Sonocent Audio Note Taker. They've since evolved into a very elegant, lightweight, Chrome-based application that works in the browser called Glean. And it has a very simple interface that allows students to, basically record chunks of audio that are associated with a slide deck or a PDF. So it's really ideal for students that are in classrooms in science, social studies, where teachers are driving the instruction with, I'll say, PowerPoint slides or Google Slides. Or even PDFs, and they really pared it down so it has basically the most essential features. that can be utilized by students, and it's very easy onboarding. And also the nice part is that if you're using Glean, your notes are always stored in the cloud, so you can access them from just about any device that you want. The Rico is I have a slide on that. It's a audio tape recorder that pairs with one of the smart pens, so that you don't have to use your basically your phone as the recording device. I know, Karen, you asked about audio transcription in Word, and that is available using Word or 365 online. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to drop in audio files, and then it will transcribe it. I have a video that I will show in a little bit how that's done. Right now, Microsoft is giving you 300 minutes a month to utilize for the service. I'm sure that there'll be some sort of subscription to get more transcription time, but it actually works pretty well, which I'll show you. And then, over the years, Adam and I have had students that have just come in with digital recorders, and so those work well. It's just important for the student to realize that they need some way to bookmark some of the the audio, so that, because it's just not enough time to listen to lectures over minute from minute.
Brian?
Yes.
I know a lot of students who've used the digital recorder with a piece of paper where they write the topic and the time.
Right.
And that becomes the index.
Yes.
For the audio recording, and that could be a nice strategy as well. It kind of pairs the two together.
Yeah. And yes, I mean, or else if they just kind of put it on record and they don't bookmark it in some way, it's going to be hard
Unwieldy
to get back to. Yeah. To navigate. So this is just this is what basically the interface looks like in Glean. So on the left-hand side, you would have, in this case, this is a PDF, but it could be a Google slide or a PowerPoint that's converted to a PDF. So that's sitting there. At the bottom, you have students can basically click on heading, important, review, and task to tag that, and they can type a note and it will send it to the panel all the way on the right. Where you see it says slide 2, those little well, looks like little bits or chunks of audio that are associated with that particular, in that case, the page, that PDF. So it's really easy to use, and you'll see the little cloud icon at the top. Everything is being stored in the cloud and can be accessed from any device. Sonocent does have some trials. You can try it out for a week, but it's a very fluid, very lightweight application, works well. Not a lot of features, which is what they intended. So getting students to use it can be, very, very quick. I'm going to, just because of time, the video's here. You want to, watch it. When I give you access to it, you can.
We know that it's really hard to take.
So this is, I was talking about the Rico. And so what this is, it's a digital recorder, and it pairs up with a digital pen. So the student would have the recorder on their desk, they'd have the digital pen in their notebook, and then they can write on the notebook, and then it basically synchronizes everything so that students can go back and listen to what they wanted to when they wrote it down. I think I'm gonna play a little, give you an idea of what this is like.
Hi, this is Dr. Friedlander, and in this video, I'd like to show you the Neo Rico and the Neo Dymo pen, and how a student could use this technology to record audio notes in the classroom. This solution is unique in that it allows students to write their notes, but then go back and listen to what the teacher was saying at the time they actually wrote the note. So it really is time stamping the handwriting and linking it to the audio note. So this is the Neo Rico. It just came out. It's really small. It has a couple of controls. I'm actually going to do a demo, so I'm going to turn it on. And you can see the power light turned on. Now I'm going to open the Dymo pen, and the power button is here. And when it's on, you'll see the light. And also, you may have heard some audio. I now paired the pen to the Rico recorder. This is fairly lightweight, so a student could bring this into the classroom, and they don't have to have their smartphone on to record the notes. And I'm going to use this notebook. Students need to use the notebooks that are provided by the company. This is digital paper. It may be hard to see, but there is a watermark on each page so that it makes it easy for the device to know exactly where I am on the page. So just imagine I'm in a class and I want to record the notes. So I will be doing the speaking, but again, this could be a teacher doing a lecture, or this could even be like a YouTube video or a video that a teacher has put together, especially as students are spending more time in remote learning. So I'm going to hit the record button. You heard that little audio and you see the red light. And now I am using the Neo Dymo pen. It's linked to the Rico, and I can basically timestamp my notes with audio. Okay. So this is ideal in lectures. It can also be used with YouTube or in remote learning. It's not dependent on text, so that students can even draw, if they're in a science class, they can draw an image, and then the teacher says, that is the nucleus. That is the cell wall. And it allows for nutrients to pass through the wall and exit the wall. When I'm done, I'm just going to press the record button. Now, just imagine I'm the student, I took some notes. I can go back to my classroom or back to my home and tap on any of the text or images that I wrote and listen to the notes and audio cue up. With YouTube or in remote, if they're in a science class, they can draw an image, and then the teacher says, cell wall, and it allows for nutrients to pass through the wall and exit the wall. When I'm done, I'm just going to, so you can see that how handy this solution could be. It's very lightweight. The Rico can.
So that kind of gives you an idea of, how a student might be able to use this. What's nice about this solution is the student doesn't have to have their cell phone out as a recording device. And in some classes, teachers and professors don't want students to have their cell phones out. So this is digital recorder with a digital pen. So we had talked a little bit about transcribing audio in Word. So currently, this is available as a service with Word Online. It's not built into the desktop version of Office 365, though that's where it's probably headed. So I'm just going to play this so you can get an idea of what a student can do with audio and the transcription services available in Office 365.
Hi, this is Dr. Friedlander, and I'd like to show you a really incredible feature that was just added to Word, which is part of Office 365. Right now, this is running on the web version, but my understanding is that this will run on the desktop version of Word 365. This feature gives students the ability to take audio files and transcribe them. So I want to show you how we do this. So I'm on Word online. I click on the down arrow here, and you can see that I now have dictate and transcribe. I'm going to click transcribe, and now what I am going to do is I'm going to upload an audio file that I actually created earlier on my iPhone. As you can see, this is a M4A file, but it will accept WAV or MP4 or M4A or MP3 files. I click open. It's now transcribing the audio, and in a couple of seconds you will see the text appear in that panel. We could have only dreamed this feature a couple of years ago. Now Microsoft is making this possible. It's almost done uploading to OneDrive, and you can see this was just a short audio recording. I can play each one by clicking.
This is really exciting, the ability to transcribe audio right within Microsoft Word.
What's nice too is that this will transcribe speakers. So if I wanted to, I could type my name, but if you were interviewing someone, you'd be able to change the names, and you can see I'm going to change them for all and hit confirm, and now you can see the speaker. And then if I want to add the text to Microsoft Word, I click add all, and now you can see that all the text is here, and it's totally editable, which is really fantastic. So students that are recording audio in their classrooms as an accommodation can now take the audio files and transcribe them in Microsoft Word. This certainly opens up all kinds of possibilities.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi.
So that kind of gives you an idea of some of the kind of the where the future is going with audio. And in terms of the future of note-taking, I've been doing a lot of work since I've been at home researching and using e-ink devices. I think this is kind of the next wave of devices. These are basically, most of them are e-ink devices. They use the same technology that you would find on an Amazon Kindle. These devices are very lightweight. They run for many hours on a full charge. They use a stylus. Most of them are using a Wacom stylus. And what's nice is that they give the student the feeling that they're writing on paper, though they're digital. Many of them are sort of very dedicated to taking notes and importing PDFs and annotating. Some of them do have more iPad functionality. One of the probably greatest asset is that these are simple devices to use, and they're, for the most part, very distraction free, because for the most part, all you can do with them is take notes, import PDFs, and annotate. There are some e-ink devices that are more full-featured, more like an iPad. Some of these will run anywhere between $200 to $600 or $700. But again, a lot of the feedback that I'm getting from individuals that I'm interacting with as I explore these devices is that they really enjoy the feel of writing on these devices, and also the fact that There's no distractions. There's no browser. Nothing is notifying them. There's no pinging. And so for some students that really need to organize their notes, most of these have the ability to organize notes into notebooks or folders. And some of them also have the ability to have handwriting recognition built in as well. So you can go from your handwritten notes to an editable text document. And again, based on handwriting, mileage may vary. But I think this is going to be a tremendous tool for high school kids and college students who are looking for a distraction-free environment to take their notes, and something that has long battery life. So if you're interested, I set up this is a sorry.
Ryan will be back.
Set up
a
course. I set up a course using text messaging. This is available for those people that attend, a special fee of $6. And it's all about e-ink devices, accessories, and implementation, and that's available. So some things to think about is, and certainly when you're working with students, is what are you trying to capture? If you're in a lecture hall, that may be different than your experience if you're utilizing, PowerPoints or slide decks, or if you want to take notes from books or journals. And we kind of went over different tools for different environments, but it's important to, when you're working with students, to sit down with them and ask them, where are the difficult areas and how some of the tools and strategies can be helpful. You want to add anything to that?
That's a really good point, Brian, because lecture note taking and taking notes from reading sources are completely different. You might have completely different tools, different skills. So it's really good to talk about that up front. And a lot of people don't appreciate the differences between these two kinds of note taking. So I echo that. It's really important to kind of, as a first step,
right,
talk about, well, what is it that you want to take notes from? Because they're different tools and different strategies.
Yep. So I'm just going to go back because someone wanted me to put this. Let's see if I can. Oh, give me 1 second. All right. So we're sort of getting. So I want to know if you have any questions. If you could respond to the survey, that would be great. I'm going to put the link. He says
there's the link for the survey.
Okay.
In the chat.
And I put the link for my course in the chat as well. And we do have a couple more minutes to entertain questions. I did get requests for the presentations, which I'll process this afternoon. And you'll have access to all the links and all the videos that are part of this.
Yeah, and if people want to turn their microphone on and ask us a question by voice, that's fine at this point. Okay. Access to the presentation, the videos, yes.
Yeah, I'll process that. They all came in. I will process that. You'll have them by the end of the day.
Okay, and did you see my earlier question? I'm not sure, Karen. Can you, do you want to put on your microphone and ask us again? We may have missed it, sorry. Oh. What are the top tools or strategies you find your students use most? Sometimes we overwhelm them with options. Curious to hear what you find students prefer. Yes, it's a personal decision and dependent on the task. Well, in my experience, you got to kind of feel it out for the students. Some students are more tech savvy than others, and you try to tailor to what you think is going to work best for the student and let them try different options.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of using some of these tools, but I mean, being quite frank, a lot of the public schools do not want students using audio, which is a challenge.
Yeah.
But I do think, and I do want to make the case for, especially students where you're putting together transition plans. I think it's really important to at least let them trial some of these tools in a safe environment, because these are the tools that they're going to need when they go on, whether it be in a working environment or in a college environment. And so to put them behind the 8 ball and not allowing them access is really problematic. So I think it's important that when we put together transition plans, that we factor in some of these tools, even if it's for a short period of time, to allow students to experience and reflect on how it worked for them in the environments that they were in. I think a lot of students going off to college or in the work, are going to go with either an iPad or a laptop. And so we need to kind of work with them with the tools that they have, and try to use some of the built-in facilities that these platforms provide. But I think it's important to look at some of these other tools and strategies and let them kind of test it, and hopefully have people like you and I that they can work with to reflect on their experience and fine tune it as well. Because there's some great applications and great tools that they should learn about.
Absolutely. That's great. Brian, I noticed there was a problem with the survey. I need to make a change to that, which I will. I'll change that in just a minute. But thanks for letting me know that that's a problem. Let's see. Are there good options for students without the financial means to purchase devices, apps, etc.? Right off the bat, I mean, something like MicNote is free. If students are allowed to use their phones in school, pretty much all phones have audio recording capability. And there are a bunch of other free options which can be used for note taking, including Google Docs, etc.
Yeah. Okay. We got some good questions. Thank you. Any other questions? There also will be this was, well, actually, yeah, it is still being recorded in the cloud. So we will provide you with a link for the session as well.
Yes, the moderator for today's webinar will send everyone an email with the link to the recordings.
So you were waiting to start with students with the note taking in high school.
Any other questions? Oh, Glean versus LiveScribe. Glean, I mean, again, the difference is, what is it that the student needs to do? If they're in environments where a lot of the instruction, especially now remotely, is taking place through slide decks, Glean can be fantastic. In classes such as maybe more like science and math, the LiveScribe pen would be a real advantage, because the student could, have that, listen to the teacher as they walk through whatever process or steps they're doing in math or science. So it depends. In more free-form kinds of classrooms, the LiveScribe pen would work out a lot better.
Let's see. Another question.
Copying notes from the board. Okay. Actually, let me just show you a solution. Again, it's in this deck. I think I need to, let me just escape for a second. So this would be more of a class. This would be something that a school could do. Is it out of here? Oh, did I take it out? Oh, no. So if you see this could be something that a school could purchase to also as an accommodation, and it's made by the same company that does the Rocket Books, and these are these beacons. They cost like $10. They cost $10, and this teacher can put it up on a whiteboard, and then using the Rocketbook software, they could basically take a picture and use some of the capabilities of the application to convert it. But this is a really nice solution. And again, with this solution, students would be able to organize what they've captured from the whiteboard using the software.
Brian, there was also a question about solutions for students who have poor or no internet service. I'm assuming they're talking about no, that wouldn't be. That wouldn't
No.
make sense for remote learning, but just in general.
Can that person kind of be a little bit more specific?
The question about providing supports for students who have poor or no internet service. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're looking for?
I mean, the
Glean and LifeScribe and stuff, I know the newer versions that work off of, either the iPhone with the LifeScribe, or with Glean, they have to, be on the web browser. I mean, I know that they're easier to use, but what we've found with a lot of our students, if they're trying to do a Zoom class or something on the internet, and then having that their bandwidth, they can't even do the Zoom class. So
okay. I mean, with either with the LifeScribe or even the Rico, I mean, one strategy could be that they basically, again, if they can, they've printed thumbnails of the slides, and then you can use basically the notebook to capture the audio for each slide. And so you wouldn't, in a sense, you wouldn't be using, you still need the internet to see what the teacher is talking about, but it kind of removes some of that bandwidth. And the Echo Pen used to support, it still does if you can find it, it supported sound stickers, so students could take any piece of paper or a handout from a teacher and hit the record button and record audio on that sound sticker. No internet.
So you were waiting to start with students with the note-taking in high school.
Okay. Well, Adam, it looks like we're getting to that point. I need to actually hop on another webinar, but I really appreciate all the questions. And if you have any other questions, Adam and I have left our email addresses in the presentation, which I'll get to you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email either Adam or myself. And again, thanks for taking the time today to join us.
Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks, Brian.